This is Denise Brooks with a special segment of Hotline. It's all about the Vagina Monologue. In the building today is Alma McDonald, Dina Simmons, and Summer Johnson. One of the first things I want to know is who's directing.
When we first started this project, we were going to co-direct it, but she's so good at it, so I'm going to say Alma McDonald is directing it.
And I'm still saying we're co-directing.
Well, let me ask the both of you ladies, what made you want to do V-Day in Hattiesburg?
Both of us have been talking for a couple of years about branching out and really dealing with our artistic form. Sometimes we get ourselves in a box and we keep saying we want to do this, we want to do this. What makes you get started when you make that first call and put your name out there, then it's like, okay, we're on. And she had done it before. I had seen it several times before on HBO, and she had performed it in New Orleans.
Yes, in New Orleans. In 2009, I performed with the Phenomenal Women Book Club. They had a benefit performance. The director of that play just happened to be my cousin. And so that I felt like, yeah, that would be a good start for us. That not only will it launch us, but it would also benefit some women in the area.
Well, what is the purpose of this V-Day?
Number one is to stop the violence against women and girls, but also 90% of the proceeds have to go to a women's organization. So when we found that out, I searched around and was told about DAF's Domestic Abuse Family Shelter, right. And there's one in Hattiesburg and there's one in Laurel. And so I contacted them and asked them how did they feel about us, doing this fundraiser for them. And they were excited. So, and I got more excited once I found out, what it was really all about. It had a real strong purpose.
Well, now, Summer, you've been quiet. What's your role in V-Day Hattiesburg?
I'm a member of the cast. I was really nervous about getting in any play. So this is going to be really exciting for me, the fact that it's a play that I feel is so important for women. It's a campaign to stop violence against women. And I feel like it's a really good avenue to connect women globally. And it's, helping a local purpose. But that's one of the main reasons that I got involved, because I feel like that it's bigger than me. And so I'm a little shy, but I'm willing to, put that aside for the mission of V-Day and the Vagina Monologue.
Now, I noticed that for quite a while you said V-Day, that all of a sudden you did say Vagina Monologue. Did at any point when you first saw the script that you get frightened about having to possibly say the word in front of an audience?
I mean, at first, but when you read the whole script, you really get a sense of empowerment for women. And I feel that that's one of the things that women need to do, together is feel a sense of empowerment, especially with the issue of domestic violence.
And one of the things that is a goal or purpose of the V-Day movement is to create a dialogue among women, because there is a lot of taboos about talking about issues that deal with sexuality or violence. They approach it in at first kind of humorous way, and then they bring you into some serious things that we just don't want to talk about. For instance, they have a lot of statistics on the number of women who have been victims of incest, the number of women who've been victims of rape and domestic violence and things of that nature that the V-Day movement is really working to solve. And we have to realize that it's not just a local issue. It's a global issue. And it's one of those things that women, we still keep it hidden. We're still afraid to talk about things that pertain to our body. I think people are a little standoffish at first when they hear the title, and they're like, what are you going to be doing? And so then when you start to talk to them and tell them what it's really about, they get it. And once you come to the show, you really learn that, wow, there's a lot of stuff out there going on. For many people, they discovered that I'm not the only one. Exactly. I'm not by myself. Other women have dealt with these same issues that I'm dealing with.
V-Day, or the Vagina Monologue, is not at all your playwright. It started someplace else. Give the listening audience a little history of how it got started and who originally wrote the play.
Eve Ensler first did it. This is going into the 15th year. And what she did was went around to different women of different ages, different ethnicities, and just interviewed them, letting them women talk. And a lot of them in the monologues you'll find where women are saying, nobody's ever asked me that before. Oh, you're asking me that question? Every year they add a new monologue. I think Summer's monologue is women from Bosnia that were being raped. There was a monologue added for that. And this year, one of the monologues is dealing with the rapes that happened in New Orleans during Katrina in the Superdome. And so there's a piece there. So every year they update it. The script basically stays the same, but they'll add. So one year they added what was happening with the women in Africa with the circumcision, the mutilation. And so that's what makes it so powerful. But there's a lot of humor, too, as well, and we've had a lot of fun just reading it with each other, I
did my own little research, and I was amazed that the Vagina monologue has been performed in 48 different languages, also been performed in at least 140 countries. So that's major, that's global, that's worldwide. So people here in Hattiesburg really should come out and support this. And another question I have, it's not just done on a local level, it's also done on a national level, because you have some big name movie stars who have performed the Vagina monologue, and I know each of you know someone, so tell us some of the names of people you know that have performed it.
Angela Bassett,
Glenn Close,
Oprah,
Queen Latifah, you name a Hollywood actress and she has went to Broadway or somewhere and performed this play. It's so important to women to be able to experience the play and that they have felt the connection with it as well.
And it breaks all color barriers. I have to say that
it breaks not only it breaks race, class, gender. You'll discover that it's not just black women or poor black women, it's rich black women, it's rich white women, poor white women, women across the world, who have experienced something that dealt with just being a woman. And like she said, there's real light moments in the play, and then there's some really heavy stuff that's out there.
Let me say that this isn't the first time it was done in Hattiesburg. 10 years ago, I found out 10 years ago that USM, some women took the chance, because everybody was like afraid, thinking no one would come out. But they did it 10 years ago on the campus. And I think that's another reason why Alma and I decided to do it, because so much happens on campus. And because campuses are global, because you have students from all over with maybe a little more openness, maybe the regular community might not go to the campus. So we wanted to bring it to the community.
And here's what I like about it also. You have a lot of nonprofit organizations, that put on events that raise money for some cause. But not only does this raise money for a cause, but it brings awareness for all those people who don't know anything about or who really haven't heard much about domestic physical violence towards women.
Yeah, and that's one of the part of their four core beliefs, which the first is that art has the power to transform thinking and inspire people to act. So they want to make people leave this production saying, I got to do something. How can I get involved? Our beneficiary is the Domestic Abuse Family Shelter. So maybe somebody will walk out and say, how can I help you all? But like you said, there's other organizations. Another one of the core beliefs is lasting and social cultural change is spread by ordinary people doing extraordinary things. And you can't get any more ordinary than a couple of teachers,
Right.
And so,
in fact, majority of the cast has never been on stage before. This is their debut. I guess I'm the only one that has tipped the stages a couple of times, But so it's real interesting because I'm just thinking, because we have a nice cadre of women, and they're going to be great. But I think that's what I like about it is people taking the chance and coming out.
Yeah, and their hope is that it will develop leaders in their community, because they believe that women in their communities know what needs their community has.
Exactly.
And that's why, it's a global movement. We don't deal with female genital mutilation here. However, when they perform it in Africa or even in the Ukraine and areas like that people aren't even aware that takes place there too. That's something that they'll latch on to. And for us, it may be domestic violence or it may be rape and incest. There's an issue that we tackle, but we all have the power to do something. As women, we are, we are powerful, right. And if we band together for a good cause, then we can incite change in our own communities.
Now, let's not just say women. We want men out too. We even want men to come out and help volunteer. We need volunteers, ushers, so people can have the opportunity to help.
And here's something else that I want to bring up too. When you are in a play, most plays, they say it like that, you have to memorize the script. Tell us about how anyone who's involved in the script goes about learning it. Or do they have to?
When you first sign up to produce the Vagina Monologues, there's a site you go into, and they give you all their do's and don'ts, and they expect you to follow it, kind of verbatim. So one of the things they said, they wanted to give just the ordinary women the opportunity to perform. It says it can be done with no less than 3, but you can have as many people as possible. So we have 10. It gives, everybody a chance to do a monologue. And they recommend that it not be acted out, that you read the script, because these are actual dialogue, conversations with real people. And sometimes when you act it out, you change the character, and they don't want that. That's what they're recommending.
I'm in it also. And you all told me not to go to YouTube and look at somebody else reading it.
Because you're trying to emulate that person, and even though you're not supposed to act it out, you're still going to act to a certain extent, because nobody wants to come to a play,
right?
And heaven forbid someone just reads with no life,
right.
But I found out too that the more you read it, mm-hmm. the more you become attached to it, mm-hmm. and the more you feel like it happened to you. It's really you talking your experience.
Yeah.
And you can learn parts of it, just so you can feel comfortable with not keeping your eyes directly into the script all the time. It's like reader's theater. You're reading a script, but you're also kind of acting and interacting at the same time. So.
Yeah, because you have to be aware of your audience too. Right. Pause for laughter and that type of thing.
Right. We all talk about age limits when we have any event, any age limit.
In terms of what?
Coming to the actual V-Day monologue.
I wouldn't recommend
little kids.
Little kids, yeah, but high schoolers, I would highly recommend it for high schoolers, and even some middle school girls, because what we're learning now is that girls are becoming more active sexually a lot earlier than maybe any of us in this room did, or who knows, but and so I think there should be some exposure, but I probably would just stop at high school.
Right. When you go in and they recommend who should be in the shows, they recommend 18 to 70. And so we had one person that was 71, and she said, "You said 70, I'm 71. I'm like, well, okay, 18 and over.
Yeah, but I guess you have to know your children. If I would love for mothers to bring daughters, or families of women
and have discussion men. Afterwards.
And it will be a catalyst for a discussion, because as a teacher, I know sometimes I'm in conversation with students and I find out things that they haven't told anybody, and I'm one of those teachers that they feel they can confide in. And I've been told a lot of things that, like, have you talked to your mother? No, I haven't. And so you never know. This may be a way that they finally can get the power to say. And it's not just kids. I have friends who are going through issues that they haven't dealt with, and I'm hoping they would come and see it and feel the empowerment from watching women talk about issues that we're all familiar with. If it didn't happen to us, we know someone that it happened to, and that we just want you to be free of it, because as long as you're still in that box of what happened to you, you're never going to get out of that box. I remember a quote someone told me years ago: "What you cannot heal, that which you conceal." Mm-hmm. And so I'm hoping that this is something that those people who are concealing some things, that can come and just say, you know what, it's time for me to release the power that this event or this thing that happened to me, I have to take their power away. Use this as a catalyst for that they can talk about it and, and feel that I'm not by myself.
So listen, tell us who we can get in contact with about this. If somebody wanted to make some donations as far as supplying food or helping to usher in the people, lighting, because this is a nonprofit event. And nonprofit means needing help.
Right. Free help.
Yeah, we are in need of a lot of things.
Give them the numbers so they'll be able to call you all and get in contact with you.
You can either call myself, Alma, at 601-447-3007, or
Dina at 601-466-0367.
Well, ladies, is there anything else that you would like to share with the listening audience in closing?
The event is posted on Facebook, so you can access that for information about anything we've said on air. Is because, again, this is a benefit for the Domestic Abuse Family Shelter, and the more money we raise, the more money we can give.
And it's all done locally, so make sure you come out and support this event. And I'm quite sure that somebody knows somebody who's going to be performing in the V-Day Hattiesburg. So, once again, if they want to get involved, and give those numbers one more time.
You can contact Alma at 601-447-3007.
Or Dina at 601-466-0367.
Or you can email me at quietstormproductions8
Or you can email me at D as in Dina, THOS@AOL.com.
Thank you, ladies, for coming by and sitting in with me for Hotline. Hope to see you all on March the 9th at the Jackie Doe Community Center at 7 p.m.